Back joining us now, David Bossie, former Trump deputy campaign advisor, and co-author, of Let Trump Be Trump. You know, David, we're seeing, also with us, we have Larry O'Connor as well, WMAL radio host and the Washington Times associate editor. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us. David, let me start with you. We are seeing Trump being Trump on this issue in the sense that it sounds like he's going to be pushing back against two distinct narratives on the left and right. He's going to perhaps suggest things that the NRA will be against. He's going to suggest things that liberals are going to be against. And he is saying, I don't care about political correctness or walking the party line. This is President Trump's individual thoughts and ideas on how to address this grave situation.
Well, that's the difference between President Trump and a lot of people in Washington is he is a leader. He wants to get things done, whether it is on this serious problem of safety in our schools or the economy or our national security, you name it. He's been a leader, and that's what he does. He comes here without these preconditioned ideas in his head. So I'm a believer that he's going to try to get something done to move this forward so that our children can go to school and feel safe and actually be safe.
You know, Larry, it reminds me of that amazing meeting where the DACA meeting when he told both sides, hey, you know what, I'll take the heat. Certainly, no matter what happens, whatever he suggests, he's going to take a significant amount of heat. But it looks like he's willing to take it from all sides.
Yeah, I hope the president approaches this, though, and he has so far approached it in a very serious way, and also in a sort of all of the above kind of approach, because whenever gun control advocates and anti-Second Amendment advocates seize upon a horrible event like what we saw in Florida last week and try to have what they call a conversation about gun violence, the conversation always goes one way. They want conservatives to change their mind on our freedoms and our liberties. That's not a conversation. And as we've learned now that the FBI at the federal level and the local law enforcement officials apparently dropped the ball in a very significant way here in providing for a common defense, which is a constitutional obligation of our government. I hope that the president actually addresses those issues as well, not just further restrictions on firearms.
Yeah, Emac?
Yeah, and then also part of the debate, the librarian in the Sandy Hook shooting is saying, what is the NRA's argument that it too is not perpetuating a culture of violence? What are the solutions the NRA is coming up with to stop school shootings? What are the answers?
Well, let me just say that, you know, this is a difficult issue, but we have to remember that this is the Second Amendment we're dealing with. So to Larry's point, and I totally agree with him, is the president is going to be very thoughtful about this, but we can't just rush to some lynch mob mentality of let's do this, because it will be struck down by the courts, as well it should be if it is unconstitutional. So we have some very serious things, but some of this legislation is going to take time. And I have 4 kids in 3 different schools, and I don't want it to take time. I think I'm like the average American. One thing that the president can do immediately, which is what he's talking about, is training and arming people in the schools, whether it is people that are members of the National Guard. There are plenty of teachers in America that are members of our military. They're already trained. Those folks can be there. We can have retired officers.
The argument, David, I hear what you're saying quickly. You know, we've talked to law enforcement as well. Law enforcement admits that they've made mistakes when they see people reaching into their bag for something and accidentally shoot. No, it's not an argument. Please, let's not go there. Let's hang on.
Right.
Let's have a dispassionate clinical argument about this and a debate about it if you want. So can teachers, the question is, why have teachers instead, why not get military veterans to guard schools if they're retired?
Well, that's a great question. Let me bring Larry in, because all of these options, Larry, are on the table right now.
Well, are they? I hope they are, and I hope the president addresses those. But let me just say something. You know, 98% of the mass shootings we've seen over the last several decades have occurred in gun-free zones, like schools. I think people, when David and others and the president advances the idea of teachers actually being trained and armed in the classroom, they think that suddenly it's going to be some shoot-'em-up scene. No, the moment that a potential mass shooter knows that a person in that classroom might be armed, might be dangerous, and might be able to kill them, the shootings will stop. because no longer will it be a gun-free zone. Just the fact, look at federal marshals on airplanes. I mean, that's the whole purpose that they're there, is to prevent something from happening. People don't try to hijack planes now because they know that that federal marshal and the passengers will rise up. As soon as that is known, then these shootings will stop.
David